welcome to week 2 of the Pappy Van Winkle series. This week we're chatting about the Van Winkle Special Reserve 12-year-old. It's quite an unusual one, this one. As you'll see, the bottle designs for the first two, the 10 and the 12, are significantly different to the 15, 20 and 23. With the 12, what we've got going on is, again, it's modelled after a cognac style bottle or an Armagnac style bottle. And all that really means is when they launched it, for numerous reasons, which I'll go into in a minute, they just wanted the whiskey to speak for itself. So it's not particularly flashy, it's not very showy, it's just quite simple, there's nothing really over the top about it. This one is 45.2%, it's 90.4 proof, and just allows for a slightly less intense flavour than 10-year-old. Should be a little bit more well balanced. In regards to what it is, again, most people don't have a 12-year-old bourbon, so this one just came around because they couldn't really sell a lot of stock in the 1970s or the 1980s, and they didn't want to sell a 10-year-old bourbon at a 12-year-old whiskey price, so they just decided we'll bottle it as a 12-year-old instead. So that's really the only reason it came around. I'm not sure what the lot B refers to, it's in there in speech marks on the bottom, but that's as far as my historical delvings could get me. So we'll just crack on with the taste, we'll crack on with the smell, and we'll see what happens. Spending an extra 2 years in American oak in barrel houses where the bottom floor can be 70 degrees C and the top floor can be 125 degrees C in certain summers. This one is instantly a little bit more intense on the nose. It's more like there's still a little bit of citrus like there was with the 10-year-old, but this one is more kind of like tobacco and menthol, kind of like cigar smoke. There's a little bit more richness going on with it. But you still get that classic kind of wheated cocoa powder, cocoa butter, sweet, rich style. Just backed up by a bit more tobacco earthiness. So yeah, straight with the taste, let's see what's going on. I find that much more drier than the 10-year-old, even with the lower ABV. It is bitter, but it's kind of bittersweet in quite a pleasant way. Kind of links back to those earthy tobacco notes I was chatting about. The arrival is pretty much nigh on identical to the 10-year-old. Sweetness, chocolate, a little bit of milk and cream, really, really soft, creamy corn styles. But the finish is odd, considering it's lower ABV, but it's 2 years older. You don't expect that kind of bittersweet, really quite oaky finish from this thing. Yeah, loads of mint, more vanilla, much more vanilla. And this is going to show off kind of like my more pretentious side of my lunch breaks, but you know, if you ever go to Marks and Spencer's, they have like cigar tubes full of vanilla pods, and if you smell loads of vanilla pods together, it smells really minty, but like really off-putting. It's a bit too intense and a bit too much for your nostrils to deal with. That's kind of what it reminds me with overall. There's a mintiness to it, but it's a very intense style. Give it one more taste, just to see, because some unexpected notes going on in there. So arrival, very similar to the 10, citrus, chocolate. Mid-palate is where that bittersweet tobacco thing starts to come up a little bit more. And then towards the end, it is a lot of mint and a lot of dry oak spice. It just shows you what 2 additional years in virgin oak can do, especially in very, very warm climates. It's powerful, the weather, mind. So this is kind of an extra buzz of why we've been able to do this, because to try a base range through to the high end, but the base starts at 10. This is really going to give you a showing point of how different American whiskey can be and how difficult it is to age American whiskey very well, purely due to heat and the fact that water evaporates quicker than alcohol. So as you put American whiskey into a barrel, the water goes quicker, but the proof goes up. So it's why you've got things like George T. Stagg and William LaRue Weller. They're 14 to 18 years old, but they're bordering 69, 70, 74% alcohol. These aren't, they're watered down to a main strength, but this progression will be very interesting. So yeah, 2 years, but lower ABV has made it significantly drier, much more minty. At this point, I think I prefer the 10, but in terms of the scoring, I still think I'd give that a solid 8. The 10 just beats it a little bit for me. Prices for this, or recommended retail prices, because this is what Buffalo Trace are trying to put across. This should be around £80 a bottle, or the equivalent in dollars, so about $80 as well. For £80, it's pretty good, but I think for 20 quid less, I'd still buy the 10-year-old. So yeah, Van Winkle 12-year-old Special Reserve Lot B, 8 out of 10. Lovely whiskey, but the 10 just beats it a little bit for me. Cheers guys, I'm Phil, this is the Whiskey Jar, and I will see you all next week.